Dear children, you are very, very lucky studying in a school. There are so many self-sacrificing teachers and wonderful principals you have with you for your guidance. It's an amazing school which is preparing you not only for material education, but material, human and divine, giving you all three kinds of education to make you a balanced human being so that you can become good and smart. You can become a gift of God to mankind. You can become a pride of the human race. And you can become a potential light of the world. So this kind of education you are getting here, you are very lucky. Dear children, this is the time when you make up your life. This is the time to take a decision. You are in the junior high school classes, 6th, 7th and 8th. This age is considered as the most impressionable age. Neither you are so small that you will not be able to understand anything, nor you are so big or mature that now nothing new you can learn. This is the age which is called the most impressionable age. You can gather good ideas, you can gather good values for your life in this age and imbibe all those good values of life that you hear from a principal, from a teacher, and every day in your class. And from the surrounding, from your functions, so many good things you have to learn from the environment. Everything that you learn is beneficial at this stage. What you will learn will hold good for you in your future life. So dear children, this is the most impressionable age. And in this age, whatever good thing listen, keep it in your mind. Make a note of it on your mind. And also, if possible, note down any point which you think is useful for you in your copy. Dear children, first of all, let us say the meaning of the prayer. We every day say, I bear witness, O my God, that Thou hast created me for two things. Thou hast created me, number one, to know Thee, and number two, to worship Thee. God has created us all for two things. The first duty of man is to know his Creator, know Him, know the Creator, know God who has given His soul to us. So know Him, knowing the God and then worshipping Him, worship Him. The question is, how do we know God? He is not seen anywhere. We cannot meet Him. We cannot talk to Him. We cannot see Him. We cannot converse with Him. He is not seen anywhere. So how do we know? Yet, it is the purpose in life to know Him and worship Him. Where do I worship Him? He is not found anywhere. Where should I go to worship Him? He is nowhere seen. But yet, it is the purpose in life to worship Him. So what is the meaning of knowing God? And what is the meaning of worshipping God? Knowing God means knowing His teachings, which He has sent through various manifestations of God. Bhagavad Gita, Tripatak, Bible, Quran, Guru Granth Sahib, Tripatak, Kitab-i-Aqdas, Kitab-i-Ajavista. So many holy books, so many revealed books of God have been revealed by God, just one God. He has revealed all these books. So what are the teachings given in these books? If I wrote these teachings, reflect on the teachings, go into the deep of the teachings, try to understand the spiritual meaning of the teachings, that is knowing of God. Through this we will know what kind of God He is, what kind of thought He possesses, what kind of vision, what kind of philosophy He emits. So what kind of my Father in heaven, that is God, is like. We will know Him only through His teachings. And then worshipping God. How do we worship Him? The only way to worship Him is to obey those teachings. What have been written in or revealed by God in Bhagavad Gita or Quran or Bible or Guru Granth Sahib or Tripatak. or Kitab-e Aqdas, or Kitab-e Ajab. So what are the teachings revealed by him? Know those teachings and to obey those teachings in our lives. Reflect on the teachings. Go into the deep of the teachings. 1 hour's reflection is preferable to 70 years of pious worship. Take a verse from Holy Quran or Bible or Gita or Guru Granth Sahib and reflect upon it. Try to understand its spiritual meaning and then connect it to your life. Then let it come in our action, day-to-day action. That is the purpose for which God has created us all. So that is the meaning of the prayer. I bear witness, O my God, that thou hast created me to know thee, to know your teachings, and to worship thee, to obey your teachings. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to thy might. O God, you are mighty. I am powerless. What is his might? How do we measure his might? He is not seen anywhere. So how can I measure he is mighty? If you see those people who have recognized him, God says, whosoever has recognized me will arise and serve me with such determination that the powers of the earth and heaven shall be unable to defeat his purpose. Whosoever has recognized me, Muhammad recognized, Jesus recognized, Krishna recognized, Baha'u'llah recognized, Ram recognized. Those who recognize him, if you see their power, if you see the power, how powerful they are. Jesus Christ was put to cross. And the killers were putting nails into his body to thick hammers and they were killing him. And see the might of the man. He was praying, God, oh God, pardon them, those who are killing me. That is the power. Power of the soul. That is the might. He was so mighty soul. Even after so much of nails being put into body, to a thick hammer, he was praying, God, oh God, pardon them. This is the strength of the soul. This is power. You are mighty and I am powerless. That is the might. So I bear witness, O my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to thy might. How mighty you are. I can see from those who have recognized you, they have become mighty. Jesus recognized. Muhammad suffered for 13 long years in Mecca and Medina. And Ram had to go to the jungle for 14 long years. All the manifestations of God have suffered. Lot of suffering. They could be withstood with all these sufferings. They tolerated all the sufferings. That is the strength. Oh God, give us that strength that in your path, I can also sacrifice. In your service, your service, I can take lot of pains. So give me that strength. I do not have. And I know all my manifestations of God have so much of strength of soul, strength of the might of their soul. They were mighty and I am powerless. Then I bear witness, my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to thy might, to my poverty and to thy wealth. How poor I am and how wealthy you are. What is the wealth of God? It's not seen anywhere. I have not seen any money with him, 10,000 or 20,000 or even 10 rupees. I have not seen with God. He has no money, he has no house of his own, he doesn't live anywhere. He has no car, he has no bangla. How he is wealthy? We say he is wealthy and we are poor. What is his wealth? His wealth is that he has taken with him the sufferings in the path of God, sufferings for the love of humanity, sufferings for the love of God. These sufferings are the real wealth. In this life, those who have suffered for God, for the kingdom of God, they are the king of the kingdom. They are the rulers of the whole world. They are the ruler of the rulers. And they are the the wealthiest man. What is the wealth? The wealth is the love of God, the sufferings of the love of God. Ram suffered for 14 long years. Muhammad suffered for 13 long years. Jesus suffered. The kind of suffering that was given to Jesus was matchless. Such a suffering nobody has ever withstood that he has to undergo. So all these great men have suffered in the path of God. Those sufferings are the real wealth. Everyone has to go. Everyone has to leave this world. But what they have taken with them, the wealth of love of God, the sufferings in the path of God. They suffered in the path of God. We have no wealth. We are not wealthy. We are having some notes or maybe some building or some car or bungalow. All these things will be left here. But what we are taking with us, what is our wealth that we can take with us to our next world, where I have to live for millions and millions and trillions of years. What is the wealth I am taking there? And that is the wealth, the sufferings in the path of God. So all these manifestations of God, all the divine educators suffered in the path of God. And that suffering is the real wealth that they've taken with them to our kingdom. So dear children, so I bear witness, O my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to thy might, to my poverty and to thy wealth. There is none other God save thee, the help in peril, the self-sufficient. You are only God. There is only one God. And help in peril and the self-sufficient. You are the help in peril. I am in peril. I am in deep sorrow. I am in deep difficulty. You are the help in peril. And you are self-subsisting. You don't require the help of any one of us. You don't require the help of the people of this world. You don't require anybody's help. But I am in deep suffering. My suffering is, कहते हैं ना, आए थे हर भजन को ओटन लगे कपास. We have come to this world to know the teachings of God and to obey the teachings of God. And in this world, neither we are trying to know the teachings of God, nor we are obeying the teachings of God. So what can be the better, bigger peril for me? What can be the bigger, how unlucky I am that neither I am trying to know the teachings of God, nor obeying the teachings of God. So that is my peril. And there cannot be any other peril than this peril. This is the biggest peril I am in. Dear children, the only way to come out of this peril is to pray God to help you. To pray God to help you to return to Him, to know His teachings, so that I put my heart and soul to knowing the teachings from the depth. 1 hour's reflection is preferable to 70 years of pious worship. If we read Bhagavad Gita or Quran or Bible or Guru Granth Sahib for 70 long years, and you may memorize it, it is of no use. What is important is to take any teaching of God from any of the holy books, reflect on it, go into the deep of it, try to understand its spiritual meaning, and then come to the conclusion what God wants. And then imbibe in your heart, imbibe in your determination, and act upon this. So God has created us to know His teachings and to obey His teachings. This is our prayer. मैं साक्षी देता हूँ, हे मेरे परमेश्वर, कि तूने मुझे इसलिए उत्पन्न किया है कि मैं तुझे जानूं, अर्थात तेरी शिक्षाओं को जानूं, और मैं तेरी पूजा करूं, अर्थात उन शिक्षाओं पर चलूं. ये शक्ति मुझे परमात्मा दे कि मैं तेरी शिक्षाओं को जानूं और तेरी शिक्षाओं पर चलूं. ये शक्ति की प्रार्थना हमें रोजाना करनी चाहिए. परमात्मा से प्रार्थना की मानी यही है. तो ये प्यारे बच्चों, दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ द प्रेयर. नाउ ये देखो पंखा. अब आप देखो ये तार है ना, इस तार की आप फोटो ले सकते हो. इस तार के ऊपर जो प्लास्टिक है उसको निकाल दें तो व्हाइट मेटल नजर आएगा, उसकी भी फोटो ले सकते हो. लेकिन उस व्हाइट मेटल के अंदर एक ऊर्जा है, वो आपको दिखाई नहीं पड़ती, उसका फोटो आप नहीं ले सकते हैं, वो हिडन होती है उसमें. वो जो ऊर्जा है दिखाई नहीं पड़ती, लेकिन आप उससे पंखा चलाना चाहें तो पंखा चल जाता है, उससे आप बल्ब जलाना चाहें बल्ब जल जाएगा। अब जितने वाट का बल्ब हो उतना रोशनी आ जाएगी। यदि 15 वाट का लगाओगे तो 15 वाट आ जाएगी, 100 वाट का लगा दोगे तो 100 वाट आ जाएगी, और 1000 वाट का लगाओगे तो 1000 वाट आ जाएगी। और उससे यदि आप ट्राम चलाना चाहो, रेल भी चलाना चाहो, वो कहीं भी दिखाई नहीं पड़ती तार में, लेकिन शक्ति है। जिस किसी ने उसको पहचान लिया उसने पंखा भी चला लिया, उसने बल्ब भी जला लिया, उसने रेल भी चला ली। जो कोई पहचान ले उस शक्ति को, Whosoever has recognized me। इसी तरह शरीर को, इस शरीर में खाल है, इस खाल को आप देख सकते हैं, इसका फोटो ले सकते हैं। ये खाल उतार दी जाए तो नीचे आपको हड्डियां और मांस दिखाई पड़ेगा, उसकी भी फोटो ले सकते हैं। लेकिन उसके अंदर एक ऊर्जा है, आत्मा जिसे कहते हैं, परमात्मा की आत्मा। उसको जो कोई पहचान ले, उसको पहचान कर वो क्या बन सकता है, जिस दिशा में जाना चाहे उस दिशा में वो महान बन जाएगा। जैसे इसको चाहे बल्ब जलाऊं, चाहे पंखा चलाऊं, चाहे छोटा बल्ब चाहे बड़ा बल्ब, ट्रेन, आप जिस तरह से यूज करना चाहो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को यूज कर सकते हो। आप टीवी चलाओ, घर को ठंडा करने के लिए आप एसी लगा दो, आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो, लाइटिंग कर सकते हो अपने घर में। तो जो कोई पहचान लेगा उस शक्ति को, उसका उपयोग कर लेगा। इसी तरह ये जो शरीर में खाल है, इससे कुछ नहीं दिखाई पड़ता। वो जो मनुष्य की ऊर्जा है, इसके अंदर इस खाल को निकालने के बाद जो मांस और हड्डियां हैं उनका भी फोटो ले सकते हैं, लेकिन उसमें ऊर्जा जो छिपी है उसकी फोटो आप नहीं ले सकते। उस ऊर्जा को जो अंदर की छिपी है, जिस किसी ने पहचान लिया कि परमात्मा की आत्मा या परमात्मा की ऊर्जा मेरे अंदर है, और वो चाहे तो हाथ चलाए, चाहे तो आंखों से देखने लगे, उस ऊर्जा को यहाँ लगा दे तो कान से सुनने लगे, उस ऊर्जा को खाने पे लगा दें तो आप खाना खाने लगे, उस ऊर्जा को मस्तिष्क को चलाने में लगा तो मस्तिष्क चलने लगे, उस ऊर्जा को हाथ पैर हिलाने डुलाने में लगा दें तो हाथ पैर हिलाने डुलाने। और उस ऊर्जा को यदि आप किसी दिशा में ले जाएं, उस दिशा में जितना आप जाना चाहें चले जाएं। उस ऊर्जा को गांधी जी ने लगाया देश की आज़ादी के लिए, उस परमात्मा की ऊर्जा को तो देश आज़ाद करा दिया। मदर तेरेसा ने उस ऊर्जा को लगाया मानव जगत की सेवा के लिए, कोढ़ियों के लिए, लेपर्स के लिए, अनाथ और अशक्त लोगों के लिए, ओल्ड एज के लोगों के लिए, हजारों अनाथालय और तरह तरह के सेवा के केंद्र, लेपर्स होम और कोढ़ियों के लिए होम। तो उन्होंने लाखों लाखों लोगों की सेवा में उस ऊर्जा को पहचाना, उसकी ओर ले गई, और वो इतनी बड़ी संसार की सेवक बनी कि सारे संसार में उसकी सानी का कोई दूसरा व्यक्ति कभी पैदा हुआ ही नहीं।
यह थे सिटी मॉन्टेसोरी स्कूल के संस्थापक प्रबंधक एवं प्रख्यात शिक्षाविद डॉक्टर जगदीश गांधी, जिनका मानना है आज मानव जाति को जय जगत के नारे को बुलंद करने की आवश्यकता है तथा विश्व में वास्तविक शांति लाने के लिए बच्चे ही सबसे सशक्त माध्यम हैं। डॉक्टर गांधी द्वारा शिक्षाप्रद आध्यात्मिक बातें इन प्रतिष्ठित चैनलों द्वारा नित्य प्रसारित की जाती हैं तथा रोजाना उनके विचार CMS FM रेडियो 90.4 मेगाहर्ट्ज से भी प्रसारित किए जाते हैं। छात्रों, शिक्षकों व अभिभावकों के मार्गदर्शन हेतु डॉक्टर जगदीश गांधी द्वारा लिखित पुस्तकें साहित्य भारती इंटरनेशनल, न्यूमन ग्रुप, 4C, अंसारी रोड, दरियागंज, नई दिल्ली 110002 से प्राप्त की जा सकती हैं। to heal the world with the power of Jai Jagat, City Montessori School since 1959 has been actively working to construct the defenses of peace in the minds of students, for which CMS in the year 2002 was awarded with the UNESCO Prize for Peace Education. A Guinness World Record holder for being the largest city school in terms of number of students enrolled. CMS education revolves around the twin poles of godliness and globalism through 4 pillars of education, namely universal values, excellence in all things, global understanding, and service to humanity. It is no wonder that City Montessori School's Gomti Nagar first campus has been awarded first prize for academic reputation at all India level by the Education World magazine in its India School Rankings of 2015. It is also awarded first prize for being the best co-ed school in Lucknow as well as in Uttar Pradesh. CMS founder Dr. Jagdish Gandhi has been motivating parents and generations of good and smart children through holding special prayer assemblies and divine education conferences.
I'm sure you have ideas in your mind as to how would you like to, complete this picture. Like, naturally, this mission calls for as many youngsters joining in.
So, ma'am, not all my friends are in CMS. Not all my parents, relatives, and everybody is not connected with the CMS ideology. So, whenever I see any such kind of situation or incident where I believe that okay, I have been taught this philosophy in CMS and okay, it is not being obeyed here, so I'll make it a point to go there and help sort it out according to what I have been taught.
Can you give me an instance?
Like whenever my elders or anybody, happens to be any such tension based on any religion, like any sort of discriminatory practice that I see against any person of another religion, then I make it a point to explain to them that all people are equal and it's not a matter of religion but it's individual differences between the people. So anywhere I see discrimination between different types of religion, people from different regions, I make it a point to sort out the difference.
Dr. Gandhi is trying to do the same on the international level, starting with you, students, young boys and girls, taking it to the Chief Justices and dignitaries from various walks of life. How successful, in your opinion, he is today?
I think that if there are so many countries in the world and the chiefs of those countries, the chief justices and maybe the presidents or the former presidents are coming to India, to Lucknow to attend this conference, then surely, and for 16 or 17 years, then surely he has been really successful in making the chiefs understand that this matter of Article 51, which is for unity of the world, is very important, and he has been successful in this.
In how much time you see the change actually coming and taking us all by storm?
Change is gradual. There are so many countries involved, so many people involved, and it cannot happen in 20 years or 30 years, but definitely in a century or it can happen.
If world today comes down to believing in religious unity, how will it be a different place for all of us?
It will be a really different place because if you look back at history, most of the wars took place because many wars and many large scale wars took place because religious tension, like Hitler used to exterminate the Jews because religious tension. So all these different kinds of tensions would be eliminated. Then when these tensions are eliminated, their mind would be free from all this, so they would think about the development of humankind. So when they have foregone all this tension and everything, they will think about development and further progress. They will be united, and so this will help in sustaining the mankind for long.
How have teachers been able to support your views as you see yourself getting transformed?
Ma'am, CMS like provides for a moral science class, and so the moral science teacher there makes sure that all the children are given an opportunity to reflect their views on different topics and how they perceive the world. Maybe their views are not in consistency with the teachers, so they try to debate and polite debate and all sorts of these things. And there are like he gives his speeches, and he so the children are also acquainted with his philosophy. So all these things help in development of my philosophy.
Well, that was on the spiritual, moral level. Teacher Connect on the academic level.
And on the academic level, the Teacher Connect is extremely good, because especially in class 9th and 10th, the teachers are so board oriented, because every time they make sure to give tips, tricks and different necessary guidance to make sure that the students excel in the examination. They leave no stone unturned, and most of them, they have already checked board copies, so they know how the things go on in there, and so they make sure that the students are well acquainted with the procedure, and they make sure that students know how to properly modify their copies in such a way that the examiner likes it, and they are highly knowledgeable, and they give all those tips and tricks necessary.
CMS is one school which would not only try to shape your personality as an individual, as a student, it too would try to get into your houses, by way of getting along, involving your parents, your grandparents.
Ma'am, so in CMS, like we have the teacher guardians, so they make sure that they come to my house at least twice, once in a year, so they can keep up with my performance, what I am doing, what my schedule at home is, and how well study environment at home I am getting, and all sorts of these things that can only be understood by a teacher when she comes to my home. So, and moreover, then there are the class performances until class 8th, where the parents used to come to school, and they used to see the class presentation, and and there are frequent PTMs almost after every unit test. So all this makes sure that the teacher, parent and the children are all well connected with one another, and the progress of the child is carried on.
Even they would like to influence the thoughts and ideas of parents, of grandparents.
Yes, ma'am, when they come to our house, they discuss all sorts of different things related to my studies, my hobbies and everything that may contribute to my studies or my development. They discuss it with their parents, sort out the differences if there are any, and make sure to give any necessary guidance. And
how would things have been different for you had you not moved to CMS from another school?
I think it would have been very different, because I would not have got the international exposure, I would not have got the different ideas and philosophy and development from Mr. Gandhi and various other things. Means there are so many small things that when contribute as a whole, they make CMS, and so all those different things would be missed, and so I don't think I would have really developed as much as if I were not in CMS.
शिक्षात्मक सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रम एवं चिंतन हेतु विश्व एकता सत्संग में आप सभी सपरिवार सादर आमंत्रित हैं।